a big galaxy out there.
Right. We also have the pro sports and everything in Memphis too.
You do, and you have people putting in fiber optic lines and setting up Target stores and
Right. We're opening a
doing
new Google
political
soon.
stuff. You have Google Chrome, you have CEOs and their assistants and project managers that all have larger per diems housing allowances than travel nurses.
It's
Because
true.
you know yourself that a traveling physician has a larger housing allowance than a travel nurse, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's why I didn't want to lecture you, but I have to stop you because I don't want you going down a rabbit hole.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be able to speak with you live.
I love nurses though. I married one, in fact.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, that's how I got my start, and that's how I discovered this. Well, I was in it myself, but it's a big world, and people hear me speak or hear a case study or want to emulate me. Um, they absolutely can, but I don't want them to get, travel nurses. It's like if you are a dollar over their allowance or what they want to spend, then you're out, you know, and then you may think you're out of business, and you're really not.
Makes
Huh.
sense.
You remember the Price is Right? If you're like a dollar over, you can be 50 bucks, 100 bucks under, but if you're $1 over,
Game over.
game over. That's right. That's right. It's real sensitive. Okay, let's talk about this. I want to go through. I want to take people's questions because I really want you guys to see your potential in the market. And there's a lot of incredible stuff you can do because there's a mega trend happening in the United States and all over the world. In the United States right now, 36% of the travel is involving people who are staying between 1 to 6 months. And most folks, besides these hotel chains, aren't thinking about that at all. They don't even know that people come to stay for 3 months at a time, and if they or 4 months at a time, and if you can imagine that, that marketing to them is much different than just marketing to somebody who's coming for an overnight stay for an Airbnb. Would you agree, Pablo? Are you still with me?
I definitely agree.
I gotta keep you on your toes, brother. I don't want you falling asleep on me. This is live,
No,
man.
no, I'm paying attention.
All right, all right, all right. So because of that, there's a lot of value and a lot of wealth that can be created for you guys if those brands are in your market, and I'm sure they are. But anyway, during this time, I want you to discover how there's a principle that drives cash flow. There's several principles, and once you know a principle, you can focus on it. That's what I'd like people to do. And when you start focusing on it, then you can help it grow. You can help your cash flow grow just by understanding this one principle we're going to talk about. And the hospitality industry is about 55 billion. I need to update that number because I know it's larger now. As people do less labor and they're doing more travel, and the market keeps getting bigger, especially hospitality. And there's a plan that and we have had this happen, lots of case studies of this happening, of starting with basically nothing and retiring in 2 years, replacing their jobs. So it's done all the time. This is not phony baloney stuff. It's just a fact. It's based on the fact that it costs you more to stay at a hotel for a month than it does for you to stay at a rental. And if that's true, then you can retire in 2 years. Okay, and we're going to get into that. Now, this whole thing is going to be for you if you want reoccurring passive income. Okay, that's much different than flipping homes because you don't have to keep chasing the deal. You set it up once, and then it's work to set up a new apartment, of course, but after that, it's just reoccurring, nothing to do. In fact, my friend Swanee, one of my students, was complaining that she's been bored. She's bored with it. She just set up another unit. So, and if you're willing to copy successful people, this is really important because I had a problem with this. I want to do my own spin on stuff, but it's good to copy successful people until you mastered the craft and then go and add your own flip or twist to it. And if you're a landlord out there, awesome. If you have a vacancy coming up, then I want you to lean forward, because you have to decide if you're going to go the traditional route, which is good, or a different route, which can double your net income at the least, at the minimum, and help you break even in no more than 5 months. So it's essentially, you could double. It's like buying another rental. Now, you're not going to like this at all if you're already rich and comfortable, because there's work involved. And if you don't enjoy people, if you don't like people, you're not a people person, then I don't recommend that you stick around to this webinar. And if you're looking to get rich quick, this is not it. I don't want to promise that at all. It's exactly the opposite. This is being strategic and letting this everything compound on you without risk. So I don't want you swinging for the fences. And if we had a hand button, we can always raise your hand. We do have a hand button, and I want you guys to interact with me. But it's a small enough group that you guys can just chime in, okay?
Okay.
Sounds good.
Perfect. So I'm Al Williamson. I'm usually up on stages, and I travel around like once a month or so. I try to keep it not too frequent, because I want to stay home with the family. I don't want to be out there. But I would be a person people bring up to talk about a field that I created called Landlord Science, and it's about how to get more income out of a rental property. So I look at expense reductions, and I look at how to magnify your income. So I'm interested in being innovative with landlording instead of the same old thing that's been done since baby Jesus went to the manger. There's a lot more innovative things that we can do. So I'm on discussion panels, and I have 28 short-term rentals clustered in Sacramento, and trained over 800 people or so in the 4 years that I've been talking about this. But here's the state of Airbnb. This is what I want to bring you. Stop talking about me. I just updated this. I looked at the Marriott quarterly report, Q3 report, and they got 1.3 million rooms under management per night. That's how many rooms that they have that they manage every night. And Airbnb, they were bragging in August of last year that they hit the 4 million mark of people served. And Marriott, which is a very impressive place, is in 101 countries, and Airbnb is in 246. So they've more than doubled the size or activity than the Marriott and the Hyatt and the Hilton all combined. So it's a mega phenomenon that I want you guys to understand what's happening with this. So things are really, really good if you're interested in short-term rentals, and I hope you guys are. But the issue is, what's that?
I said, I know I am.
Oh, good, good. So there's the issue is everything you read and people you talk to are going to be talking about how much gross income they're bringing in. And that's like a landlord talking about how high their rents are. And that really doesn't matter. All that matters is what goes to their bank account. Okay. Because if you make $1 million and you spend $1 million too, it doesn't mean anything. Okay. You got to talk about the net income. That's what we want to talk about. It's how to enlarge your net income. I got some examples I want to share with you guys, because I want to do some coaching with you right now to help you, if you're an investor, think about how to be as passive when you're doing short-term rentals and increase your profitability. Okay, so we're going to talk about 2 secrets. One is that there's it's a marketing business. I got a case study about that, and we're going to talk about this rental arbitrage thing. That's a principle that has been changing a lot of people's lives really quickly. Yeah, I won't go through all the case studies. I'll just do these. So marketing is really, really important. And that's what we found out with Adam, who was in Tulsa. He was just not able to fill his flips. He's flipping homes, doing great, but it was taking time between the time he finished his remodel and when he actually was able to sell. So he was having a tough time with that. And he was just feeling like a failure. And he was telling me about that. I was like, you know, I gotta tuck myself away. Let me figure out some ideas to help him turn his remodeled flips into short-term rentals until they sell. That way he can cover his holding costs. So that's when I came up with this blitz and pivot type of strategy that is, let's talk about that actually. A lot of people look at vacation rentals and they think about Airbnb and they think about 1, 2, and 7-night stays. And that's how I use it when I travel around. I'm a business traveler. I use, 7 nights sometimes. I was just in Madison for almost 5 nights. And then I dropped down to I was in Austin, dropped down to Texas for 4 nights. So I'm always in those short stays, and I go straight to Airbnb for that. And that's how I use it. But people who are traveling for military, they don't go to Airbnb. They go to different websites and they go through a different network of people. But they need furnished rentals, right, Bill? Military people
Yeah,
need
they do.
Yeah, and so do people doing corporate housing. The folks who are, I was in charge of bridge construction, so I was out there for 6, 7 months. Working for a corporation, overseeing those plans. Students need housing. Graduate students don't like to live with undergraduate students. So there's 2 different sets of housing, 2 different sets of needs. I would furnish for a unit for graduate students differently than I would furnish it for undergraduates. You guys all receive that?
Yeah.
You do things different. It's different mindset. And people who are traveling to, when there's a disaster, an assurance adjuster goes out for months at a time to do all the claims and work remotely. So they need like a home office away from home. So there's furnished rentals for that. And then of course, if you have a fire in your house, your insurance company will put you up. They'll try to keep you in the same neighborhood, especially if you have kids who have that go to school. They'll try to keep you in the same neighborhood, and they'll pay a lot for furnishings and to keep you comfortable. So it's a very lucrative niche in furnished rentals. Medical housing is really important. They need furnished rentals, and they come out completely different. You got medical students that are really cash strapped. They need housing 1 month at a time as they're doing rotations. And travel nurses, like we're talking about Veronica, they travel. Physicians, I call it the traveling healthcare professionals. They do that for, they may be in Mississippi where they're treated poorly and paid poorly, and they go work in California where they're treated better and get paid a lot more. And so they can clear a lot more money and pay their student loans down. It's a very popular thing to do. And also people who have a loved one who's going through chemo process or a transplant, they have to be close by the hospital. So they need extended stay travel. They need to stay for 1 to 3 months while they're healing up. So they need specialized housing. Temp housing is another category. It's very lucrative. It plays a really big role in this whole universe of short-term rentals. If you were, let's say, before you're homeless, if you lose your job, you can go to a hotel or motel or temporary furnished rental, okay? And it's a little bit more comfortable and a little bit more affordable. There's that end of it, and then there's the higher end of it that I use when someone in San Francisco sells their home, a baby boomer sells their home, sitting on $2 or $3 million, and they want to pay cash for a house that they have built in the foothills in California. So they need a place for 7 months, and they're looking for a furnished rental just to kind of hang out while their place is being built. So that's the in-betweeners. So we got the whole economic range. And then we got international travelers. I got a stream of people coming from India, a stream of people coming from China. So it's a big universe. What do you guys think of this? This is kind of what I see the world is so much bigger than vacation rentals. What do you think?
Agreed.
Yeah, good. Veronica, you still with me? You hit a stoplight? I hope she's okay. But if you were just, for example, if you just decided to focus on travel, oh, she raised her hand. Maybe she said amen. Okay, if you just are focused on travel nurses, can you see how I try to save people and try to get them up on this balcony so they can see the full landscape of it? And of course, it's a little complicated to get into each category. Each category has its own marketing strategies and best practices. Airbnb can reach some of them, but they can't reach all these categories. And that's where your opportunity is, because most people are not seeing what you guys are seeing, and knowing what to do with it. So I'm really excited for you guys. And these things are recession proof. Some of these categories, would you agree? Like Pablo, what do you think is going to happen if the economy turns down? What's going to happen to military housing?
Nothing.
Yeah. And Bill, what do you think would happen if if all of where do you live, Bill? What city state?
Actually, I'm in Appleton. So I actually saw you a week ago.
Oh, good.
Yeah, at the Whiskeria.
Awesome. So Bill, if Wisconsin slowed down, the whole state we went into a funk. How would that affect international housing?
It probably would not, unless unless businesses here suffered that had travelers that came to visit them, or business people that came to visit them, but probably would not.
Yeah, probably would not. And I know in Madison for sure, I know there's a ton of people coming in from London. I didn't check for Appleton, but I will. I'm coming back to Appleton, and I'll know what country is coming the most over. So,
Where do you get that information?
oh, top secret stuff. That's called AirDNA.
AirDNA.
.co, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So that's the thing. If something dries up, or if you have if you're great in vacation rentals, you can always switch up and go into a different area, okay? So you're not stuck. If you furnish a rental, it's not risky at all. I always say it's the safest thing to do is to furnish a rental. You add a lot more utility to a rental or to someone else's rental, okay? That's the magical thing. And if you are a landlord and you're thinking about all your ordinances, because like I showed you, Airbnb is 4 times the size of the Marriott. So, and there's laws coming. If they're not already there, they will be there. And if you're a landlord, I want you to think of yourself as a month-to-month landlord, just the same as always. Okay. And if you think about it that way and use the landlord ordinances and landlord laws in your county, you will see your opportunity to do these 30 days and longer stays as a month-to-month landlord is not illegal, and you won't take on a negative mindset and start thinking about all the things you can't do. You just say business as usual. I'm just a regular landlord. I just happen to market my place differently. You guys receive that? That's really important. I spend a lot of time talking to people about that.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So we explained this to Adam. We got him up and going. He was pivoting into different categories, bobbing and weaving, and keeping his place filled. And then he started making $700 a month per rental on top of his holding costs. And he's like, I'm done flipping, because I'm always, you get something in your bank account and then it gets depleted and goes away. And then you run it and you have to go and hunt something down, whether it's a good deal or okay deal, but you need some money, and then it goes down and down. And then you have to go back, and it's this constant surge and stress. Whereas these extended stay rentals is just regular, just churning out money for you. He said, I'm done with that. I'm done flipping. And he went and he got 5 extended stay rentals together. And that was enough to cover his housing expenses and his utilities, and his car. So now whether he gets up or not, his housing, utilities, and car are paid for. He just has to figure out how to come up with food money, and that's no problem for him. So it completely changed his life, and it's enabled him to travel the world and do all kinds of cool stuff. And he's very grateful that I was putting the numbers down when I was talking to this and trying to explain it to people. I'm still trying to get through to people because this is really important that you guys are listening. Hopefully you can hear my voice. I want you to get going. I don't want you to be the last to the party. Okay. It's not like it's a gold rush. It's going on all the time and it's getting bigger. It's not like I'm not saying it's a scarcity type of thing. I'm saying you have the opportunity to change things for yourself and all of your family. That's what I'm saying. It's a big opportunity. All right. So I don't want you guys to be afraid of jumping out there and furnishing a rental and going and doing it. Okay. Don't be afraid of that at all. Okay. So to become recession proof with this strategy, if you're recession proof, you're kind of golden, right? You're not, if you enjoy certainty in your life, this is it. if you're injured or not, you want to know if you can take care of your family. Well, this is it. Everything can be outsourced, and you're just playing the difference between the two markets. So there's you're just tapping into the potential energy that's there. All right. So that's the first insight, is that you can pivot between the categories and thrive. Absolutely enjoy yourself, and do the thing that you're put on earth to do. That's another story about how I was not doing what I knew I was supposed to be doing, and I was living in I was saying one thing and living differently. I was saying I wanted financial freedom and not making any effort to become financially free. So I hope you guys aren't there. I'm glad you guys are taking some steps, at least to learn something.
Yeah.
All right. Next secret number 2 is rental arbitrage. And a lot of people still don't know about it. I was talking to a money broker yesterday. He's getting some funds together for this construction project I'm dealing with. And he's putting together like $1.8 million for me from different investors. Okay. And I go through my business plan, and he just he's just blown away that this is possible. That is possible. But he understands it. He sees I'm doing it. He sees all my numbers, and he's like, he didn't have a clue. So what is rental arbitrage? And first I want to start off with, well, what is arbitrage? And that means that you're buying and selling an asset, something that people want, that makes money. So you're buying and selling something that makes you money without risk. Okay. You're doing it at the same time, buying and selling something that makes you money simultaneously without risk. So to go over this real slow, because I really want you guys to get this. If you had a machine that made you money, okay, and you could take it from, let's talk about a vending machine, okay, guys? If you had a vending machine, but it was at a kindergarten classroom, that's where it sat, and you talk to people, hey, let me use that. Can I rent that machine from you? They're like, yeah, here, go ahead, rent the machine from us. And you take that vending machine and you place it on a college campus right there in the middle of the quad area that has a lot more traffic and people who have a lot more money. You can see you're going to make more money, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because you reposition the asset. You took it from one market and you put it into a different market with different people who have more resources. All right. And you can do that because especially if that college campus didn't have any candy machines, and you had that information, it's safe to take it from the kindergarten class and put it onto the college campus, and you're gonna make a lot more money, and you can pay the rent for the machine, and you don't have to own it. Bill, do you follow that example? I'm just testing it out.
Well, yeah, it's funny is I actually own a company that supplies vending machines across the U.S.
Perfect. Then you know exactly what I'm talking about. You can move it from different place and make a lot more money with the same machine, right?
Yeah, we don't do that, but yeah, that's what our customers do.
Yeah, you can follow. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. This is not voodoo magic or anything, right? It's just economics, basic economics. So this means you go rent a place from a passive landlord who just wants to be passive. And 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 there's a lot of techniques that I can share with you on how to do that and negotiate that. And you work out all the subleasing clauses. I have a whole bunch of tools to help you do that. And then you go put so first of all, we're doing everything with integrity. We're not doing anything behind anyone's back. We get all the written permissions, all contractually, everything by the runs according to the local city ordinance. You guys all follow what I'm saying?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's really important. Because if we don't do it with integrity, we're going to lose the money. Real quick, I was in DC and I was staying at someone's rental arbitrage, and the guy was doing it at this high-rise luxury building, and he's working in the shadows because he didn't want the management company to find out. But they did find out, and they sued him. So all those money that he made, he's making good money, but it's going to be gone, and his peace of mind is gone as well. So build on integrity. So all right, I'm way off the topic, but you put your furnishings in someone else's place that you control, and then you go market it online and offline, and using online travel agencies, word of mouth, your Facebook, your LinkedIn account, all those things, okay? Your community, your church members, and everybody, all right? And your goal is to bring in income twice your expenses. That's a good business model, right?
Yeah.
Bring in twice your expenses. Now, even though you don't own it, it doesn't have to be a mortgage. It's just an expense. Rent, your place, it's an expense. So and you pocket the difference. That's what it is. If your expenses are 1,000, you bring in 2,000 and you pocket the difference. That's the rental arbitrage thing. So this is really key, this graph. Let that blue bar represent what you can find a rental for anywhere in town, okay? That blue bar is where, I don't care where, if it's the nicest place in New York, it's the blue bar. It's market rent, okay? You guys all follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the gross market rent that you go and rent a place from. Super nice. If you have the ability to make money on top beyond that when you furnish it and you market it, and then you add services to it. You can make that spread on top. I don't care where it is, as long as you get the hotel prices are more than the rental prices. As long as the hospitality industry charges more than the rental market industry, you can make a profit. So that's the truth of the matter. And that's how this whole thing works. That you can, based on your street knowledge, you can control the right place. You don't even have to own it, and then reposition it into the hospitality industry and pick up a big margin. That's that red bar, okay? And that margin right there, that's straight cash flow that you can use to improve your lifestyle, fund college accounts. I use it to fund my lifestyle and I use it to buy assets with it here in California. I take that margin right there and I use it to buy rentals. I don't need to live off of my arbitrages. You guys follow what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's a complete game changer that's accessible to you guys within the next 30 days. All you have to do is decide to go for it. Okay, here's Rochelle, who decided to go for it. She was in a pinch because she needed to take care of her goddaughters because their mother was dying. And she just wanted to focus on business travelers. That's who I recommend. Because remember I said in that definition of rental arbitrage, you want to buy and sell an asset without risk. And I say you want to focus on business travelers because they're a lower risk, and you're managing your risk by dealing with a professional person who is not paying for their own housing. You guys follow? That's an important piece of the mindset. When I travel with I gotta make sure she's not around. I travel with my wife. She goes into the hotel. If we're paying for it, she goes and does the white glove test everywhere. So she can call down to the front desk. I have to lower my voice because but if someone else was paying for our stay, if we're on someone else's dime, then we're not worried about it, right? We're more relaxed. We're not calling up and down. We're not calling people to do stuff. We're just like, okay, we're just going to be more easygoing. So that's why business travelers who are have a housing allowance. That's the way they behave. So she got this place. I have a whole worksheet to help you find the right place, because there's a lot to it. It's not as simple as going to get a place, but it is. But it's like, where's it located? Is it within? Is it affected by the things that go on in the city? If the city has a festival, are the hotels in this area affected by that festival? You know, is the area known for something? You know, does it have a good reputation? And is the location to the transit? Is it near a bus stop? Is it near a subway? Is it walking distance to a train station? All of those things are really important to getting a place. Oftentimes, in this case, it was an out-of-state landlord who had no clue about the neighborhood, and she was able to use her street knowledge and get this place. So she got it, and she furnished it wisely. It's so important that you don't spend a ton of money. I think you guys have heard me say that before. You can go crazy and say you can spend $20,000 on setting up a place, or let's say $10,000 setting up a place. Okay, if you're only making a profit of $500 a month, then it's over a month and a half before you break even. And sometimes people decide to quit because they're just kind of worn out after a year. So you see the tragedy of that, guys? It's so tragic. It just breaks my heart that people are that they get wrapped up in that. So pay attention to what you buy. It's important to buy the right things. The right things. You don't even have to buy them. It's important to have the right things in your place. If you get it for free, that's what's important. And so she's very careful of what she bought, and she used the bed from her own guest room. And beds are really, really important. If you were going to splurge, it would be on the mattress. Since I stay at a lot of Airbnbs, I have my preferences on a lot of stuff, and I put that down in a list that the course she was going through as I was training her. I was like, okay, this is what I need. I need that light on that nightstand. It needs to have a USB port. And you guys understand what I'm saying? I need to be able to plug them in a USB port because I need my phone by my bed. So you just got to know that stuff. I don't want to pull the bed away from the wall to find the electrical outlet. I want it right there. And then the mattress thickness. Anyway, I can talk about that for an hour. It's really important to get that right. You don't have to get everything right, but you got to get the mattress and the bed right, the sleep environment. So yeah, I have a checklist to help out with that. So to use her insider knowledge, like we're saying, so she get in the right spot, controlling someone else's asset, and she was able to make $900 a month doing that. The difference in it, and how she did it is she got the client to pay $2,100 a month, and that he has about $3,000 of a housing allowance. So what happens to the other $900 for the client?
You can keep it.
Yeah, he keeps it. So he's thrilled, right? He's getting ahead of his bills. She pays the landlord $850, and she keeps this place really clean. Trash picked up, looks really good. She added some things to it, and he's thrilled. He gets his money on time. He's passive. He's proud of his asset too. And she pays for some utilities and Wi-Fi. and some expenses, and then that's how she gets the $900 of net income. And then let's look at deeper at the numbers. She's making more than the landlord. She's making $50 more, and probably even more so. That's why I like this number. That's why I try to catch landlords and say, hey, you got to have at least, let me help you get at least one short-term rental in your portfolio. Because in this case, if the landlord is getting $850, but he's got to pay taxes, probably a mortgage and insurance and things out of it. So let's say he has a $400 net income. And if he was doing what Rochelle was doing, he'd make $900 on top of that. That means he'd be making $1,300 a month, which is 3 times more. He'd be doing 3 times better if he was doing these extended stay rentals without much work. He just has to put furniture in it. And you have to know how to market as well. So it's a tremendous thing to do, and you really don't know that you're in a feast, or there's oil in your backyard that you're sitting on the oil well until you do short-term rentals. You just you just don't know what's going on in your neighborhood until you can tap in by doing short-term rentals. That's how you get the potential out of your place. So it cost her $4,100 to set it all up. That's first month's rent, security deposit, and all her furnishings. And then, of course, we said $900 a month. That's her income. So I did the division, and she breaks even in 4.5 months. And after that, she was able to have money for gymnastic lessons and for piano lessons and for those little girls who lost their mom. So she's now on 3 of these, and she uses 2 of them to buy other land in Reno, Nevada, closer to where the Tesla factory is. So she's doing quite well. These things are funding her lifestyle and funding her rental portfolio. That's not bad, right?
No, it's pretty good.
It's like having it's like having an employee that puts out money for you. That's exactly what it is. So that's what I was telling tellers, that you get your money back so quickly. If you can get this 120%, which is not unrealistic, return on your investment. And she just didn't understand what that meant. And I was telling her, with that, I mean, if I stood to make $120, just say that, and if Pablo, he charged me $10 to borrow the money, and I could make 120, and you charged me $10, could I afford to pay you that $10? If I was going to make $120,
Of
you
course.
charge me. Yeah. So why? So can you imagine someone saying that they can't do this because they don't want to pay the interest on the money? The interest on money is maybe 12% at the highest. Here in California, we can get hard money for about 9%. And you stand to make 120%. And I'm like, good grief. I just have to,
Yeah.
I struggle to get people past this point, but yeah, it's such a strong business model that you can do this. Everyone can afford to do this. There's some mental shifts that you need to make, but once you make them, everything changes, and the whole thing of, essentially you're just not broke anymore. That's essentially what it is. This is the span here. That blue bar is the market rent on any rental, say a 2-bed 1 bath, or a 3-bed 2 bath, whatever that is. You can make additional money. You can, on top of that, if you know how to market. And then if you know how to market and you do rental arbitrage, you can make additional money on top of that without any of the maintenance that goes along with it. Again, because there's a gap between the rental market and the hospitality market. Yes?
Yep.
Yep. So that you're not going to be making more than the hospitality market, but you're going to make a lot more than the rental market, and all that cash in between the gap of those things, which the gap could be $2,000-$3,000 difference between the monthly rates of a rental and a hotel room. Okay. So if you just captured if you just capture 1,500, half of that, would you be okay?
I know I would.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And you'd be creating a savings for that hotel guest. So that's why it works. Everyone wins, and that's why it's real. You guys have any questions? I know I've been talking my hair off.
No, well, I guess what I was going to ask is the marketing that you do is you basically have to post that, say, like an apartment on all those websites that you had up there, right? Previous pages?
No, you don't.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to. So it's a you have to find the one that works.
Okay.
You know.
Let's just say I wanted to do corporate housing, just corporate housing.
Okay. Okay. Corporate housing. By that I mean a business is funding it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So corporate housing has a span in people who need it, because if a business, there are concrete workers, they're business travelers. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are IT professionals, they're business travelers. And then there are professional athletes, they're business travelers, right?
Right.
I think you have some in your apartment building. So
Yeah.
you know that this whole span, when you say corporate housing, there's this whole spectrum of, like we just talked about, and you're going to go to the website that attracts that type of clientele that you want for a particular place. You're not going to put your contract, you're not going to put your concrete masons in a place where you have for your professional football players.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so is you got to advertise appropriately, and I help you with that.
Okay.
To get more specific, like the people in the concrete masons may be looking on Craigslist for a place for 3 months. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but the professional athletes, they're going to have their managers find a place for them,
That's true.
and it's going to be more word of mouth, more insider relationship building that she has to be built over time, that knows how to deal with that type of clientele, what their expectations are, and can anticipate them. That's why I really can't give you a super bullet point answer. Of course, Airbnb plays a role in all these things, but
Mm-hmm.
that professional athlete is not searching Airbnb. Their staff is, and their staff is first going by the word of mouth. You know.
Yeah. That was one of my questions I forgot to ask the last time I saw you up here in Green Bay.
Okay.
Was how do we market it, but to corporate, into like football players and stuff like that. That was one of my questions about that.
Yeah. So it's a well, we'll talk more later, because the world is, first of all, the world is not fair. You just can't. You may be able to get into different groups, but some groups you're not able to get into every group.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So there's it's just like getting a job. You work your way to it. You network your way to it.
Right.
Okay. Bill, you got any questions for me? I'm
I
not sure
don't
who's all
think
on.
so.
Okay.
I mean, I have some questions, but they're not quite, they're
Fully
broad,
baked
they're
in.
not pinpointed,
Okay. Cool. Who else is on? I can't really see everyone from my screen here. Now we got 6 people on. Let's see. Michelle, you want to say something? I want to allow you to talk. And Veronica, you're still allowed to talk.
I was really just sitting here listening
Okay.
and wondering how, I don't know, I'm just at awe because I didn't know, I know about Airbnb, but
Right.
to the mass that you can actually market is like insane.
You're right.
So,
And like I told
yeah,
you, they got 4 million rooms under management per night. They obviously have a big reach.
yeah. So,
They're the first people you should go to market.
really,
Yeah, the first people you should go to. But here's the thing. everyone goes there, right?
Yeah.
And then the market gets choked out. So what I'm just a few steps ahead of everybody.
Right. Right.
So I drag people through that, but I can keep coming. Keep coming. We got to get you in a spot where you can be recession proof, and not everyone can just get online and compete with you the next day, and you have a bunch of vacancies, and then your whole business falls apart.
Right. I understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Let's move on here. I hope that helped you guys. That's why I want to take questions and things. Of course, I have a coaching and training program. If you guys mind if I tell you about it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
No.
All right. So here it is. It's called. Let me move through this thing. But here's the thing. Here, really, I want to stop here. Is you guys know what your life is going to look like next year if nothing changes, right?
Yeah, the same.
I mean, if that's tolerable, if that's even if you fail, for me, it was like, even if I fail, I'm going to have more respect for myself than if I don't do anything. Because I know I'm just going to end up like, you know, I love my parents, but I'm going to end up like my dad if nothing changes. He expects me to do something better, So there needs to be a change. And that's where I really focus on. And you can hear it in my voice. I help people make a transformation. And it's a blessing to be able to help people make that. And that's what this course is about, is to help you make that transformation and get into a different mindset and change the future for your family and your children and so on and so forth. Okay. So it's called Extended Stays for Landlords, and it's a 6-step program course because everyone's got a life and you got other things happening besides just doing this. So I want you to follow a checklist, make the step, do the task, take the next step, do the task under there, make the next step, and you're going to be on your way. Okay. So I made it just like that so I can hold your hand through the whole thing. And then I stick around to answer your questions to make sure that I do everything. You guys, if you have kids, you know how you teach them how to ride a bicycle and you're just right there. You just don't
Yeah.
want them. That's the way I feel. It's like if you do this with me, then it's my responsibility to keep my hands on you and keep you balanced until you can get momentum and learn how to do this. And you could learn how to ride a bike by yourself. You absolutely could. There's a big risk to that. It's possible though. So these 6 steps takes you up every step. Even if you don't finish the next step, you'll still be able to make more money on a net income basis. Step 1 is all about the mobile workforce. Now, I've been trying to expose you guys to this growing mobile workforce that uses laptops to do the laptops and smartphones to run their whole businesses. Okay, like we all are doing teleconferencing right now, right?
Right.
Yeah.
We don't need to be in the same office anymore to meet.
Nope.
That means we're all over the country. We could travel and carry on your regular job at the same time. Things have completely changed now. We can see each other's faces. We can communicate just the same, maybe a little bit better than in the office. This augmented reality, really, because it's easier to share a screen. Okay, so that's what it's about. The traveling workforce, the tourists cause all the problems of the travelers, so we don't focus on them at all. And I go through what kind of amenities you need. These travelers that stay a month or longer, they have internal needs, different needs than people. They need to connect to the community, a whole bunch of things like that. And they have different goals. So I help you with that. The second step is all about understanding your market's potential so you set yourself up in the right spot. Okay. So you can transform your personal rentals, or you can go control other people's rentals in the right spot so that you can make the most amount of money. I think we talked about that vending machine, right? If you want to put that vending machine in the right location. So that's about it. Where these bigger brands have done millions of dollars of research on their location. That's why they decided to come there with that particular brand. Marriott has several, like for example, in this slide, Marriott has the town place as well as Residence Inn. They both do the same thing, but they go after a different demographic. You guys follow what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And because you know what brand it is, and you know what kind of business model and demographic they go after, that's how you know how to set up your arbitrage or your extended stay rental. We take what we know and we work our way backwards and understand our profit margin. Is that good news?
Yeah.
Great news.
That should take a lot of the confusion out of it for you. You see what brand of hotel is in your area. You understand who they're going after, and then you target that person that they're trying to serve, and take their lunch. That's essentially what you're trying to do. Okay, how to furnish the place. We talked about that. You want to buy the right thing for the right person, and you don't want to spend too much. You don't want to spend more than 7 times your net income that you're expecting. And I have a checklist of things that I like and things I don't like. and so hopefully what I want you to do is just to go and get this stuff for free. And if you can't get it for free, then you can get it from Amazon or wherever. So I have a checklist. You can just order everything from Amazon if you chose to. And then how to market. Marketing for extended stays is much different than marketing just for overnight Airbnb people. So I walk you through all that and give you checklists, and I show you the best practices for these groups. All right.
For each individual group?
What's the next thing?
You said for each individual group, like say in the case of corporate housing, like how
Right.
we'd approach
Right.
that within our area, and specifically like if we had examples of companies that we knew that had people that came in to visit them, like how we'd approach those companies.
Right. So we do a one-on-one action plan. I'll tell you about that in a little bit. That's a good question. And because there's best practices for each one of these things. I've marketed to, I've served all these different groups, and then people in our community serve all these groups as well. And that's how we get better and smarter and better and smarter at what the changes are. And if for example, when someone landed a family of the Oklahoma City Dodgers, it was like, well, how did you do it? And then we go and update. Oh, okay. They did it through Airbnb and something called the breadcrumbs strategy. But so we have a case study, just kind of the tools to help you not start from scratch. Okay.
Okay.
And then the next one is how to transition. It's easy to get wrapped up in Airbnb because it's fun and it's good money, but you're working yourself. And it's fun until the 20th time. And then you're like, oh. So help people transition into a system, kind of setting yourself up differently, growing your leadership. So it's not comfortable going from a job. Let me just be honest with you. You have to grow yourself, your leadership, your ability to manage people, so that you can take the work off of yourself. You guys see that? Does that sound like the truth?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll help you do that. Okay. And as you grow yourself and master yourself, you end up, I don't mean to sound like Oprah, but you end up attracting money because people see the difference in you and see that you're a better investment. And money flows to value, the higher value. All right. That's the end of my sermon, but that's the truth of the matter. Money flows to something that's going to make it more interest, and it goes to the talent. That's where it goes. It doesn't go to people who don't improve their skill set. Okay, and then rental arbitrage, everything, all the little nooks and crannies, scripts, how to negotiate, how to find the right location, how to lease agreements and sample addendums, and all of that stuff is in here. What insurances to get, all of those things is all wrapped up in that step 6, scripts, worksheets, and how to deal with rent control, everything. It's right there. All right. So that's why it's a value of 1,597. It's much more than that. Yeah, I don't like to do that whole guru walk down thing, but it honestly is. And then I'm really concerned that you guys don't fall or slip. So that's why we do group coaching. Like this weekend, we're going to do a teleconference. This goes on for about an hour. We brainstorm people's issues and celebrate their successes. That's really important. For example, Pablo, you're in Green Bay, and Bill, you're in Appleton. You guys can share each other's successes, but you may not want to be bragging. Bill,
Yeah,
you may
right.
not be running your mouth in Appleton so much.
Yeah.
So you need an outlet, you know?
Yeah, I'll be looking out for Pablo.
Because like Bill, there's Laura Ritchie in Appleton. Do you know her?
I don't know her.
I know her.
Okay, she's got 30. She was just, her skin was crawling while I was sharing everything. She came up and said,
Oh, yeah.
Alec can just kill you. Because it took
Oh,
me
is
years.
she the corporate housing person?
Yeah,
Yep.
she says it took me years. It took me
Yeah,
years to come
yeah.
out what you said. So she's got 30 of them, and she's running, and she's in our group. I made her honorary, and we're able to grow her and also grow her. She's able to help us and tell us about her digital marketing strategies. Because you know she was with NBC, right? She's in charge of helping out with her digital marketing.
Well, she just quit that.
Yeah, she just quit.
She just left her job.
Yeah, she left with all that knowledge that we're gathering for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So it's equal exchange. So working with this group coaching, that's such a huge asset because no one's as smart as all of us, and we all bring our own skill sets. So these calls are extremely valuable to answer all your questions. And of course,
So Al,
yeah.
In that case, I mean, she was not happy about the fact. It sounded like she was not happy about the fact that you're putting this out there and it's like stepping in her territory.
Well, she's not. Yeah, she's doing fine now, but she's not happy that I'm adding competition to her.
Right. So if you did like a group coaching or whatever, isn't there a conflict then?
Well, the difference is she's not personally on the hook for your success like I am. So that's one thing. She's not going to be going the extra mile for you. She'll help, or if she's on the loan. And then the next thing I want you to understand is in Appleton, over there by that freeway between the city and the airport, there's like 14 different hotels there.
Yeah.
Just because there's a hotel there with 100, 200 rooms doesn't mean the market can't support another hotel with 200 rooms, right?
Right.
And Appleton's a growing market, so there's plenty to go around. We're not in a scarcity thing. We're simply trying to take a room away from one of those hotels. And there's plenty to go around. I hope I answered your question. Just for example,
I was just like thinking of the amount of sharing that goes on if people would view other people as direct competitors, because they're in the same small market.
For example, if you and I are in the market and you had a question, I probably wouldn't answer it, but someone over in Austin would. Someone in Seattle would. You would get what you needed.
So is the group is like people across the country then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Across the country. They have I think the biggest units we have is 40 is the number. But there's several people who have 20s. They're very active, and a lot of people who have 2 or 3. Once you do one arbitrage, you end up with 3. It's just the way it goes. You end up with 3, and then people grow it from there. 5.
I was going to ask you a
5
question.
retires you.
I was going to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Is this like when you put these systems in place?
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible to do it in other states without you being there?
You need a team there.
You need a team there.
Well, this real good question. is Jessica? Is she your partner? Or you guys related? Or
Yeah,
what's that?
yeah, she's my partner.
Okay. If you guys are traveling and
Mhm.
let's say the toilets overflowed, you guys are in a hotel.
Right.
You guys are in the hospitality industry, okay?
Mhm.
And the toilet stops working, and she calls down for service. How long do you think she will be happy? How much time do they have to get up there before
Not
she
that
just
much,
goes
not that
ballistic?
long.
Okay. So if you guys were in a rental,
Mm-hmm.
traditional rental, then sometime that day, tomorrow, the next day, people in the hospitality industry want immediate service. Okay, so you have to have a responsive team wherever you are. It's about having a responsive team. If you don't have that, then you're going to get some bad reviews and you're going to
Mm-hmm.
underperform. You're kind of acting like you're a landlord instead of a hotelier.
Right.
Okay,
Okay.
so I want to couch you with that. You can do it in other states. You need someone who, not that things break in the middle of the night, but you need someone that will go there at 3 a.m. to make things right, because you're in the hospitality industry, meaning you do things for people.
Right.
That's what it means to be hospitable, right?
Right.
Okay. You absolutely can do it. Jay does it from Thailand. He has his whole team in Oakland. He
Okay.
has a bunch of virtual assistants, and he's able to operate. So it's absolutely possible. You
Okay.
have to grow yourself as a leader, though, of a
I
team.
understand. Well, yeah, because that's the same. One of my same goals that I'm trying to accomplish with wholesaling is put systems in place so I can just do it all over the United States. But when I heard of your program, I was just trying to figure out a way to do that too. And I know I'm sure there's a way once I figure it out. But
Oh
there's got
yeah,
to be lots of way.
it's already figured out for you.
Okay.
You just have to grow yourself into it.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So also, one-on-one training, I call it ninja training. It's where we work and put together a personal action plan, and I help you with whatever you need. If you need raising funds, I help you put together a pitch deck. And this is what it looks like, how I operate my business off this spreadsheet that gets emailed to me every day from my lady in the Philippines. If there's nothing red, there's nothing for me to do. That's how it works. And then I'll help you during this time. We can go over whatever city ordinances, how to respond to people, how to expand your business, because you guys will need to know that. And of course, how to deal with different things that come up, like rent control. You don't have it in Wisconsin, but if you did,
Mm-hmm.
that's why the value of that is $3,000. That's the value of I'm able to help people make an extra $500 a month. So that's how we get to that. All right. So altogether, if we add it all up, it's well over 9,000, because it's basically, this is all you really need to walk and replace your job. So if you have a really well-paying job like I did, you just need a handful of these rental arbitrages, or convert your existing rentals like I did. I converted 5 of my 8-unit apartment building, and I was able to walk away. Okay.
Wow.
So this is what it looks like all together. We got resources on top of that, because you're going to need example lease agreements and all kinds of stuff. All those lease resources are there that people say, hey, Al, can you help me with? And I do, and I put in, I make it a resource. Okay. So it's all there. It's completely everything you need. Like we said, the value is over 9,000, and I always sell it because people are making $1,300 of net income per month. So I felt like I needed to stay the value of what it was per month for people. So that's fair. I didn't want to gouge them, but when I'm doing a webinar, I give you guys a special. So hang on to that. If you're listening to the replay, you guys who are on live, hang on for me, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you a special. But if you're listening to the replay, this is it. You can go to extendedstaylandlord.com, and it's going to look like this. You click on the enroll button right there, and you can able to preview the curriculum and see all the details are there. You can look at all the resources. You can see that it's pretty well thought out. after 4 years of updates and hundreds of people gone through in it. And then you click on the button, enroll now, and you're up and going. I'm going to give you 30 days to look it over. If you don't like it, you just return it. That's it. No questions asked. If I can't help you make a transformation, then you just get your money back. So there's no risk right there. That's part of arbitrage, right? You making this transaction without risk. This is what it looks like. You go to HTTP, there's no S, http://extendedstaylandlord.com. And I will see you on the other side. If you're on live, stick with me. 3, 2, 1 for my editing. You guys can go to extendedstaylandlord.com and use this discount code. You see that? 0122.
0122, yeah.
I'm gonna give you $300 off. All right, that goes through Saturday. 0122. The discount's offered till Saturday, and the way it works is I give people a finite time. I'm gonna be in I'll be in San Diego Saturday. So as I go and get additional training for myself, of course my course is more valuable, and I always, my rates keep going up, so I don't leave it open-ended. So there it is. You guys have any questions? I'll stick around. I'm in my room in my recliner. So I'll hang around, answer all your questions. But I'm looking forward to working with you guys.
Hey Al, so when you purchase the program, so if we get it for them, is there a reoccurring fee?
Nope.
Okay, and if you add more, like if you get more information, you add it on there, is there anything you have to pay, or is it just part of your membership?
It's just grandfathered in. Some people paid $199 when I started 4 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and they get access to everything.
Okay.
They're still getting access to it.
Okay.
Now that is for this section. I'm creating another course for people who have 10, 20 units and more. They have to do things differently. They have to. So I haven't. That's why I was telling you, I'm going around to different conferences and I'm paying for mentoring from people who are, I'm going through the same trainings that the Hilton sales team goes through, the Extended Stay America sales team. I'm paying to go through that. So of course I'm setting up a separate group for that. And that's for people who have a lot of units that need to market differently.
Hey,
That's fair. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good. Hey, Al,
Yeah.
I gotta cut out of here.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for being here.
Good program.
Thanks for joining us, Bill.
Yep. Take care.
Okay.
Hey, Al, I have
Yeah.
to be transparent. Like, I found you after signing up for another program.
Okay.
And I believe you can hear the disappointment in my voice.
Yes. Yes.
So, and I'm still in the midst of that program. And
Okay.
I'm over here shaking my head because I'm like,
I'm trying to reach you.
where were you at, dude?
I'm trying. I've been traveling my butt off. I'm trying to travel no more than once a month.
I'm here in New
I'm
York.
out.
Actually, I'm in Westchester County.
Okay.
And
Westchester. Oh
yeah.
yeah. Did you meet me when I was there?
No, I didn't even know you
I
was
was just there.
No.
See, I went up into Westchester and I did a case study right there, and I presented at one of the local RIAs there.
No.
I'm trying to get you.
Oh,
But here's what you
gosh.
do.
Yeah.
Here's what you do. Let me help you a little bit. Just kind of whatever program you have, until you're ready to have. I'm happy to coach you now. But whatever your program you have, try to get that whoever's leading it to direct you towards the extended stays, and see if you can get that direction. If not, I can help you make the transformation. It works in Westchester.
All right. I'll try that.
Okay.
And
That
I'll
way,
just shoot you. What's your
yeah,
email? I could use the email address. That's
yeah, the one you're getting my messages from,
Yeah.
that leadinglandlord.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Now,
Yeah.
I can't give you everything.
No,
I
no,
can,
no, no.
I,
I'm not even. You know what? It's a thing like this. I paid for this course. I just paid for the course. I'm gonna take the action which you just suggested, but
okay.
I'm going to finish the course, and
Okay.
I'll see what happens and what it offers. But I know I'm not gonna get what you're offering.